Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of the Red Devils Corner Kick Podcast, a fan podcast dedicated to Manchester United Football Club. As always, like, subscribe, follow, whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. And as well as you can follow on social media, TikTok, X, and Instagram. I hope everyone's enjoyed the last 2 days. I hope everyone is still celebrating the Manchester United women's squad's 1-0 win over Arsenal last night. And they're on their way to the League Cup final facing Chelsea. Listen, overall, I'm still happy that we got the W, that we're going to a final. Listen, we know we've been going to FA Cup finals the last couple of years, but to have Mark Skinner take this team to another potential trophy is great. It is, and I'm happy for them. They are back this Sunday. We are playing Aston Villa, so Aston Villa round 2. I will be doing the preview episode tomorrow. I'm doing a double preview, one for the men's squad and then one for the women's squad, as both squads are playing on Sunday. The women's squad are playing at 6:55 a.m., and the men's squad are playing at 11:30 when they're playing Arsenal. So preview episode, it's a Man United versus Arsenal week, because again we just played the women's squad in the semifinal yesterday, so it's men's time now, and it's round 2 for the men, playing with them after losing 1-0. Listen, I'm going to keep it, well, I shouldn't say short, but it's going to be like a usual length. I'm going to try and keep it short as we have lots of episodes coming out. But with this episode today, it's a couple of things. One, Ineos and the Glazers are just a mess. Everything that's been happening the last year of what they've been trying to set towards sounds like it's crumbling. The reason why I'm going to be leaning towards that is it's because they're looking to talk about extending Bruno. Nothing again, I understand that, but they're looking at getting Bruno to stay another year. The spin of still trying to get another manager, or not, the spin of manager talk is still always going to be there, but the spin of getting players, all that stuff. There's a rumor of Neves, potentially a bid has come in. They're talking about Ndidi as well. They're looking at trying to work on their recruitment, because there's been news I've been seeing here on social media and some outlets that the Glazer and Wilcox are trying to work on things to help improve recruitment. Well, you've been failing for a little bit as well. There's the talks of Mainu getting a new contract, which, like, come on. There was talks about that last year where there was talks, because again, he just signed one, I think a year or two ago. And there's talks about him renegotiating, getting a newer one where he was talking about getting over 100K. I remember those reports coming out. So that's what I'm going to talk about. One thing, too, is Casemiro announced that he will be leaving Manchester United at the end of the summer, or at the end of the season, sorry. And listen, we knew some of this was coming already, but it looks like it's a direction that's going on. I'm not going to talk about it now because he hasn't left yet, but at the end of the season, obviously when the season comes to an end, we'll talk about the year in review. And yes, I'll be thanking Casemiro then. He's here now. He's not going during the transfer window, so we'll be having him here for the last 4 months. He says he's going to give it his all for those 4 months. But am I shocked by this? The answer is no, because we were expecting this to happen. There's rumors of him potentially resigning for 1 more year. There's talks of him going to Saudi. There's talks of him going to the MLS. And as of right now, he's not. Well, he is leaving. But we're looking at, we have to look at a replacement for him. Is that replacement coming in now? Is it going to be a long term? Is that Kobbie Mainu? There's still talks of Ugarte and being sold and going, but right now it's and that's a discussion for the summer. But Casemiro, who has had an up and down, I would say an up and down way with Manchester United, great first season. Second season was up and down with Ten Hag. Third season, rebounding. He rebounded with or finding his way with Ruben Amorim after the sacking of Ten Hag. Benched, got himself back. You saw him in more shape. You saw him similar to what he was in that first season, and you saw what he had done as well in the contributions. This season, he has been consistent. He has been playing. He's mostly played majority of all the games. He has played very well. He's been a key contributor. We've seen what he's done, and yes, it's the end. It's the end of the Casemiro chapter. It's also an end of a high wage for the owners. That's also a positive for them. But he has contributed. Honestly, we ended the drought when winning the EFL in his first season. Obviously, he didn't participate in the FA Cup. Obviously, there was issues with Erik ten Hag. There was talks of him moving on and so on and so forth. But in the end, in his career, you can say his career at Manchester United, you can say has been up and down. You can say that there were issues here. There were many positives, but it was up and down with him. So, listen, it is tough to lose a player like that, but in the end, we knew it was potentially coming either way. We knew. And the spins of him potentially re-signing, taking a lowering pay cut, but there's opportunities for him to go on to the next chapter. So, Casemiro has been he's been a professional. You see that he has been a leader in the locker room, but there have been times where he has struggled. There are times where he has not worked out well with a manager. We've seen that. So it's a matter of who do we get to replace him, and that's what the summer transfer is going to be. Who's going to be that next target for Casemiro? But like I said, he's been involved with this club. He has been a leader, up and down on performances, depending on the year. This year has been a redemption. The second half of last year has been a redemption for him as well, especially with Amorim. But he's going in a new direction. He's going to go. He's moving in a new direction for himself. So, but yeah, we are going to need a replacement for him, and we can talk about that when the summer transfer comes, and so on and so forth. But the one thing too is for the owners, for Ineos, that's $300K off the books a week. That's money saved in the end if you're looking at it from the owner's perspective. Another thing too that has been coming out of the news recently, the last couple of days, Bruno Fernandes. There's talks of him potentially staying for another season. Obviously, we know his feelings and everything that's been going on, the Saudi deals and everything last year, the ownership. For what he said, he felt like he was being pushed out by the ownership in the summer with the transfer window. So would it be wise for him to stay another year? It all depends on how they're going to be telling him why he should stay. And listen, I get to see Bruno for the Portuguese national team. So I see him with the United uniform, and I see him with the Portuguese uniform, and I know the type of player that he is and how his work ethic and all that stuff. But realistically, we don't know what fucking direction United are going. The ownership is made a disaster. They got rid of another manager that Bruno was backing, was happy that he was here. The same manager that convinced him to stay this season as well. And realistically, he's going to have to put all the chips on Ineos and them and force them to, hey, like, we're going to help you build, we're going to help you get there. But he's not going to decide until after the World Cup. The owners want to wait and want to know now before the World Cup. He's in the driver's seat. And if they're putting pressure on him to say, make a decision, I might as well just go. He wants to go to Europe. Let him go to Europe. Let him choose another squad. Let him go. I wish Bruno could stay. I really do. I would love for him to stay. But unfortunately, he will make a decision. There was talks already that this could be his final year. And I think if I'm him, I'm leaving. I'm not going to hold United hostage or whatever. He's been here long enough to know what's going on. He knows that the ownership tried to sell him and everything and so forth. But we need to, like, they need to say, hey, we're going to try and help. But in the end, they had a manager that was approved by Bruno that he was willing to back and play for. They sacked him. So far, it's not working well. He came out and called out the owners for basically forcing him that it was time for him to move on. And listen, this could be a spin. It is. Like, I feel like, and I mentioned my last episode was Ineos keeps spinning. This just could be another spin. We could be looking at right now Arsenal, not Arsenal. We're looking at Ineos and the Glazers trying to be like, well, we're going to try and convince a fan favorite, Bruno Fernandes, to stay with us. He's our captain. I think that's what they're going to try. That's what I think is being done. Bruno was focused on this season, and he's focused on the World Cup. And he doesn't want to make any decisions until that's done, and that is done mid to late July. And Ineos doesn't want to wait that long because they probably want to cash on him. That's what it is. It's a money grab right now. It is literally a money grab at this moment, for what's happening. They're going to try and appease to the fans. At the end of the day, it's Bruno's decision. If I am Bruno, you may have to decide at the end of the season that it's time to walk. And I understand why he wants to wait, because he loves the club. He loves Manchester. He loves playing for the badge. Listen, I love having him. I love what he does on the pitch. I see, like, don't get me wrong. He can be fantastic, and he can be pure, disaster sometimes. We've seen those games, but realistically, it may be time for him. Like, realistically, I think the ownership does want him gone because it's his salary off the books, unless they're trying to keep him for 1 year and trying to reduce the salary. But for him, for the signing, one of the best signings since post Sir Alex, he has been consistent. He always plays. He's always willing to play in every game. Doesn't stop moving. Yes, we can argue about his discipline, but realistically, he has been one of our best players in the last 5 years, if not the best player in the last 5 years. We see what he does on the pitch, what he's doing this season. He's leading the Prem in assists. He is contributing with goals. We've seen what he is doing. We've seen the potential of what he's done. And right now, we have to work on trying to get this season salvaged. There's no guarantee that we're in the Champions League. Casemiro is going to give it his all. Bruno, we know, is going to give it his all for the final half of the season. Hopefully, if we qualify for Champions League, maybe Bruno stays for one more season. But Bruno has to stay to the point where he has to sit there and be like, who are you bringing in for me? Who is this manager going to be that's going to keep me here? Who are the players you're bringing in? We do need a proper striker. We do need additions in the midfield. We need players to help you win now. Like, you want the Premier League in 2028. You got rid of a manager that we wanted to play for. You've been trying to force me out. But if you're going to want me to stay, you have to tell me what I need. But realistically, I think it's all, like, when it comes to Bruno and all this, it's definitely a spin. It is a spin. Like, I think Bruno has kind of already made his decision on what's going to happen, but he always said, I'm going to wait until after the World Cup. He wants to focus on that. Let him. Like, I would, it's going to, like, I hope Portugal wins the whole thing. I hope he's there until the very end, lifting the trophy in New Jersey. But, like he has a set timetable. He wants to know. The owners need to know because they want to know if they can cash in super early. they want to know is if it's going to be a Saudi deal or a European deal. And I think while he's there at the World Cup, he may talk to some teammates that are somewhere else in the world, like the Bundesliga, maybe La Liga. Maybe he goes to PSG. I'm just speculating. Maybe he goes to the French league. Maybe he wouldn't go to another Prem, but maybe he does go to another top 5 league. Maybe he does go to Bayern. He's been mentioned too. So, listen, Bruno is in control of this. He's in charge. But I don't think he's going to be staying with United unless it's Champions League next year. And they basically got to win out. They do. They got to beat out Arsenal this week. They got Fulham the week after. There's a lot of stuff they have to do. A lot of stuff that's going on. So it feels like a spin to me because, again, I've just been seeing things here. You know, they're talking about a midfield replacement. They're talking about, you know, targets and everything going on. There's talks of backing Amorim, or not backing Amorim. Now talks of them backing Carrick because they weren't backing Amorim. There's talks of them backing Carrick. I feel like everything with this story is a spin. Just like how I feel like them talking or looking at a secret midfielder, that there is a spin. And it's just like, listen, the Kobbie Mainoo story is kind of a wonder too that's come out because there's talking about him about raising his contract. I think he's like around 40, 50,000 a week. There's talks of him getting to over 100,000. I know some fans are saying, yeah, pay him, get him, go. Has this whole ploy of him acting the way he has, or the whole thing of like showing how much he's improved. It's amazing how he plays the city, he plays the derby, and then you're seeing the talks that continue of him improving or him asking for the money. This was like this last year. I think it was just like a year or so after he just re-signed a new deal with United. And there's talks of him trying to go for 100K. That there's negotiations last year. I think there was one rumor of like over 150K that he was looking per week. And listen, maybe the rumors of negotiations are going to be there. Maybe this is another spin by the owners. It's a concern. It is. Like, the concern is what's coming out is the rumors of them trying to keep Bruno. Now there's talks of, you know, re-signing someone who everyone's been wanting to play and so on and so forth. You know, he had a fantastic game against City. You know, you have a potential future. You know, him and Carrick are getting along, though he's leaving he's leaving at the end of the season. The new manager may not want Kobbie. Like, let's be real here, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing against Kobbie Mainoo. I love the talent. I'm not too happy with how the player has been this season. But realistically, the next manager may not want him. What happens if you sign him to that over $100,000 deal and you bring in a manager and you look at him and you're like, he doesn't fit what I need. Then again, we're going to be having a manager that's coming in and being a puppet. So realistically, we can dream about Enrique, Ancelotti. What is there? Tuchel is going to want to have control. Xabi Alonso is going to want to have control as well. De Zerbi, if he wants to, he's going to want full control. Like, the managers that you're talking about, they want to be in control. They're not going to sit back and let Wilcox and Omar Barada be like, yeah, we're going to do this as a team. Fuck no. He's going to want control. And what happens if you sign that deal? He does not want Kobbie. What happens if we go through a manager who believes in properly developing him, but at the same time, too, what happens if he just doesn't fit with the manager? Or are we going back to player FC? Or is this talks of a new contract and whatever, trying to make us happy as fans, like, and so on and so forth. So that's the $1 million question here, ladies and gentlemen. What is going to be? So, listen, he had a. Like, I'm just going to leave it there. But yeah, the contract at this moment right now, I think it's just a hype and a bid and a story that's just being fed out there. That, you know what, he had a fantastic derby. Let's start the negotiations on the contract. Has him saying him going to go on loan, not because of Amarim, but maybe putting pressure on Manchester United to say, hey, maybe you need me, you need the money. I showed what happened when I was injured, air quotes on those injuries. You know, why don't we been the next manager that comes in basically doesn't want him? Why don't he wants to sell him after signing that new deal? It's great that Carrick wants him. It is. It's great that Carrick loves saying all this stuff, but that's just a spin because the next manager may not want a single person on this squad. He may want a clean house. And any manager that they want to bring, and again, it's going to be a manager that's going to be just sitting at a table, being fed a script, and so on and so forth. So, I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to be back tomorrow night with 2 episodes, previewing the Arsenal match on Sunday and previewing the Aston Villa match for the women's squad, which is also on Sunday. So you'll get a double release of episodes of the podcast. So keep an eye out for that as well. So enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Enjoy your Friday. If you're not tuning in tomorrow, or enjoy your weekend as well. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, follow, whether you're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. And then don't forget social media as well, Instagram, TikTok, or X. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow night. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. This is the Red Devils Corner Kick Podcast. Glory, glory, Man United.